Hello, I'm Wolfgang Easton, and I am a sales representative for Keel and Curly Winery. Keel and Curly Winery was started back in 2003 in Plant City, Florida, and uses the blueberries that it grows to produce wine and other products. They also develop hydroponic and aquaponic systems for consumers and retailers to use for fresh, delicious food. Today, I'll be focusing on selling Keel and Curly Winery's hydroponic system, which is a way of growing food more efficiently and with less cost by growing them in water. Today specifically, I will be selling our model of hydroponics meant for restaurants that will be sold in the restaurant or corner store. My customer is Mr. Diaz, the owner of the healthy, trendy food spot in Plant City. He is looking for a more efficient and cost-effective product to produce food for his customers that is organic and tasty. He's also looking for a product that will be a trendsetter for his business. I'll prove to him today that our product is the best fit for him due to our proven track record of saving businesses money, time, and encouraging new business. When approaching Mr. Diaz in his sales call, I will need to direct with what I need to order, what in order to be effective with his communication style. I will also use my own communication style of assertiveness to match his type of communication. In order to not hit on his hot buttons, I will not come off as passive aggressive because he will see that as weakness and will not take my sales call seriously. For these reasons, I will be open and honest about the product, as well as use personal testimonies from others to show proof. For this demonstration, I will assume that I have already talked to Mr. Diaz on the phone previously, and that we have arranged a meeting in his office to further discuss how my company's product can benefit their business. Some reluctance I may face when selling the product is the upkeep of the hydroponic system, as well as the system being too expensive. To overcome these objections, I will handle it with a compare-contrast to outweigh the positives versus the negatives, as well as the agree and neutralize. I will close with a stimulus response.
Come in.
Good morning.
Oh,
Nice
good
to see you,
morning.
Mr. Diaz.
Good to see you.
It's a pleasure. So, oh my gosh, look at your son. How old is he now?
He's 8.
He's 8?
8 years old.
I remember when he was 3. He looks so old now.
I know. It's crazy. Time flies.
Isn't he playing in rec soccer?
He is, actually. He has a game tomorrow night.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I used to play soccer back in the day.
I know, me too. Many years ago.
Good times, good times. That's awesome. Well, thank you for having me here today. I know we talked on the phone recently, but it's good to be here in person and talk about Keel and Curly Winery, and hopefully we'll be able to do some business for you in the future.
Yeah.
Awesome. So a little bit background about us. So Keel and Curly Winery. So we were founded in 2003.
Okay.
We currently produce over 20,000 cases of quality wine, which is shipped all across the world. We have 3 main varieties of wine and their own unique flavor. In addition, we also serve customers and retailers with our hydroponics, which is hydroponically grown food for consumption, personal growing, and as well as commercial use. Now, hydroponics is a new and upcoming market venture, and we will completely revolutionize how crops like lettuce and blueberries, which we grow for our wine, are grown. To elaborate, hydroponics specifically, they use less water, they use less space, while also producing more food at the same time, and in a much rapid pace, which is really good for your restaurant. Mm-hmm. So let's delve in about how hydroponics can benefit you and your restaurant or corner store. So first off, hydroponics have been around for thousands of years, right? So we look at the Aztecs, and they would grow their food in water. So if you ever gone to a river, and you might have noticed plants that were growing by a riverbed, you might have noticed 2 different types of roots. Roots that were grown in the soil, but also roots that were grown in the water. So the main purpose of roots is to take up water, and so they can either be grown in the soil or in the water. In this case of hydroponics, we're growing your type of food in water. Why is this better? Is because when you water plants in the soil, you're actually losing water from evaporation, from every other thing, or from filtering through the groundwater. With hydroponics, it's a closed system. So you're, pardon me, you're monitoring the amount of water that flows through. So you actually use 90% less water because it's in a container and it cycles through. You're also able to apply different amounts of fertilizer. And this is much better than in the soil, where you're kind of spraying it everywhere and hoping it lands near the roots. Also in hydroponics, you're growing these without the application of pesticides and herbicides, which kill insects and pests that would actually eat up your crops. Why is this good for you? I know that you as a corner store really want to have organic produce. You want to have the best for your customers. So also growing this, what we would do is we would build the system for you. We would build it entirely, show you how it runs, and it would be right next to your restaurant or behind it as well. This is going to cut down costs for transportation. So the transportation costs, you pay a lot of money from them sending food to you, and you also are getting the benefit of the organic things.
Now, upkeep of hydroponics seems like a bit too much to handle.
Of course, it's a really good thing, but let's compare and contrast the amount of time that you'd be upkeeping with the amount of time that you would actually be ordering the food. So upkeep of hydroponics is very simple. You're not managing a farm where you need to constantly apply pesticides and herbicides. All you have to do really is plant the seeds and harvest the food. The same amount of time that you would be placing an order for your lettuce, you would be doing the same for just harvesting your crops there.
This just seems really expensive for a startup, and I'm not sure that this is the best model for my restaurant.
Absolutely. So everything you understand as an entrepreneur is that it does take a lot of money in the initiative thing. But long term, you're actually going to be making and saving more money for your business. So as I said previously, hydroponics produces much more food, much more efficiently. So this is great because you don't have to buy the food, but also you're going to be competing with other people who do not do this. So you're going to be drawing in a new type of market. A new type of market that is going to be really drawn into the buying and growing locally, which is really on the upcoming nowadays. You'll also be saving money, as I mentioned previously, with the transportation. So you're going to be more ecologically friendly with your product, which is much better for the environment as well.
Okay.
So I also want to mention how other restaurants that we've dealt with have done a great success of this. They've seen an increase in their sales because they're not spending so much money on produce, and they're also getting that new type of consumer into their restaurants as well. Now I would love to prove to you in the future we can go to some of our other sites and see how they're growing hydroponics as well.
Okay.
Now also our social media, we're seeing people drawn and loving these hydroponics. Not only are they growing in their own homes, but they would love to come visit and see your site as well.
Okay.
So I have a couple questions. So if you own a restaurant and you want to have the freshest vegetables and food possible for your customers, isn't that what you want?
Yes.
Now, you would want a smaller ecological footprint on the environment as well.
Right.
And you would want to save the most amount of money and make the most amount of profit with your business as well.
I would.
Well, I would love to do business with you. When can we set up?
Well, I think you sold me, and I'm really looking forward to doing business with you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
You too.